Hi everybody, and welcome to the South End City Market location. My name's Carrie and I'm here to take you on a virtual Pennywise Pantry tour. On this tour you're going to learn some tips and tricks for shopping on a budget and making sure that you're choosing great healthy options for you and your family. So one of the first ways that you can save money here at the co-op is becoming a member. Membership is a $15 equity payment every year, but it gets you a whole host of benefits, including access to things like our quarterly member discount days, free reverse osmosis water at the reverse osmosis machines, and all sorts of other great benefits. We also have our Food for All program, where if you qualify for certain programs such as WIC, EBT, SSI, SSDI, you can qualify for a non-equity paying membership that gets you 10% off in the whole store, as well as a 15% discount in produce and bulk. To learn more about FFA, you can stop by the customer service desk and grab one of these brochures, or talk to whoever's there at customer service and they'll be happy to help you out. One of the first places that I like to start is our key to signs right here inside the door of the South End store. This sign lets you know that you can look for these different colored bars on our product labels to look for certain qualities. So if you're interested in local foods, you can look for purple bars. Organic is going to have that green bar. Conventional is orange, and wild caught is blue. Mostly you'll find that in the meat and seafood department with our fish selection, as well as a few wild foraged items in our produce department. So as an example of our key to signs, we're here in our produce department, and you can see that we have some of our great local apple options here. So on our signs, you'll see that we have those purple bars for local. We have that orange bar for conventional, because these were not from a certified organic producer. Over here, we've got that great little Vermont image to show you that it came from our great state, and we have the farm written over that image, as well as the town on that bottom bar. So if you're really interested in shopping for local produce, you definitely want to make sure you're shopping from those signs with those purple bars. One of the great things that we have at our store is a lot of different deals, and we have options such as South End Special that are only going to be at this store versus downtown specials. We have weekly winners that are going to change every week, and we have things that are called co-op deals, and those usually change every 2 weeks. The great thing about our deals is that at the bottom of these co-op fresh deals, weekly winners, etc., we'll have the dates that those deals are applicable. So you can come in, see that something's on sale, maybe take a breath. Maybe you don't need it right away. Maybe it's something that you'll have for dinner next week, and you can check the dates on the bottom and make sure that that'll still be on sale when you need it, rather than making an impulse purchase. So it's really important to always stock up on plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables to make sure you're eating a healthy, balanced diet. But sometimes those fresh fruits and vegetables can go bad a little bit faster than you're able to use them, especially if you're only shopping for one or two. Now, it doesn't quite apply today because we have these adorable tiny cabbages, but our produce department is happy to cut any large produce in half for you. They can cut a cabbage in half. If you only need a small amount, they can cut, butternut squash in half. So again, rather than having some produce go to waste, it's really important to make sure that you're buying the quantity that you need, and our produce department is happy to help. So we're currently in winter, which means a lot of root vegetables, a lot of storage crops, and it's really important to make sure that you store those correctly in your fridge. They'll last a long time if you store them the right way. We did create a brochure on the correct way to store a lot of your produce, so if you're unsure about how to store these lovely beets, these great turnips, you can check out this produce storage brochure right here in the produce department on the side, and it'll tell you how to keep those fresh for a long time. One of the first things that I like to do when I come shopping here, even though I work here every day, is I like to make a list. It's really important to make a list and stick to it to make sure that you're staying on track and on budget, especially in terms of buying healthy choices. It's really easy to come shopping when you're upset, when you're really hungry, and you grab a lot of things that sound really good right then and there, but maybe aren't the best for you or for your budget. So I like to make that list, make sure I stick to that list. And the other important thing is to stick mostly to the perimeter of the store. So if you look at the way our store is laid out, the perimeter is going to be those healthy whole foods, those nutritious whole foods, whereas the inner aisles are going to be the more highly processed items. So for example, with our store, you're going to have produce on the outside, you're going to have the bulk department, you're going to have the dairy and egg section along the back wall, meat and seafood over to the side. So again, those are those whole foods that you're going to want to make sure that you stock mostly up on and take a little bit less out of those inner aisles where the more highly processed items are. One of the other things that I like to mention in the produce department is seasonality. So I have asparagus here, and asparagus is an early spring vegetable. It's more available in sort of April, maybe a little bit of March. And so since we're here in the dead of winter, asparagus is not going to be local, it's coming from somewhere else, and it's going to be way more expensive than it will be when it's in season. So maybe just try to sort of orient your meals and your dishes around what's in season, especially locally. So I might avoid asparagus and tomatoes right about now. Those are two, early spring and height of summer vegetables right now. And I'm going to maybe focus more on things like those storage crops, so sweet potatoes, root vegetables, maybe some hardy greens like spinach or kale, and I will save money on my grocery shopping in that way. One of the last little secrets that I like to talk about in our produce department is our reduced produce section. Not everybody knows that it's here, but if you look at the banana display and then you look down, you'll find some baskets in our reduced produce sign. So this is produce that maybe just has a few lumps and bumps. Maybe it's getting a little bit close to its use-by time. And if you know that you need it for something, maybe that day, like these tomatoes look great, maybe I'll make a tomato sauce tonight. It can be a really great option for you for budget-friendly produce. So now we've moved on from our produce section and we're in our bulk section here at the South End. And I love shopping in bulk. It's a great way to buy only what you need. So especially with our spices, if you only need like a tablespoon or two for a recipe and you don't want to spend the money to buy a whole bottle, it's a great way to do that. It's also a great place to stock up on staples like pasta, rice, beans, other grains, nuts. So really great, those whole, healthy, nutritious foods that are going to keep you full and satisfied for a long time. So again, I like stocking up on the nuts. We got a really great selection of seeds. Pepitas are one of my favorites, so that's pumpkin seeds. They're roasted and salted, and they're really great for putting into granolas and trail mixes and on top of yogurts or oatmeal. And they had a lot of protein and fiber so that you feel fuller for longer. Here in our bulk section, that key to signs still applies. So if you're looking for organic, you want to look for those green bars on the signs. If you're looking for conventional, you can look for those orange bars. So one of my favorite things to eat for breakfast is oatmeal, and we always have our great oat barrels here. So I love making oatmeal for breakfast. It's super filling, it's super cheap. It's got a lot of great fiber to keep you full throughout the day. I eat a bowl of oatmeal in the morning and I'm not hungry again until lunch, whereas you eat some sugary cereal or something like that and you're hungry an hour later. So oatmeal is a great way to fill up and get a lot of fiber in your diet as well. One of the other things I love about our bulk department is the dried fruit selection. The one thing you have to be careful of with dried fruit is that it does have a lot of sugar, especially in comparison to its fresh version. Because it's taken all the water out, you're getting all of the sugar of that fruit and less of the bulk. So you tend to eat more to feel fuller, but you're eating a lot of sugar. So the thing I like to do with dried fruit is to make sure that I'm just having a small amount, and I'll usually mix it with things like nuts or grains, again, to add that fiber, to add that feeling of fullness. But that little bit of sweetness from the dried fruit is always welcome. And lastly, in the bulk section, I love the dried beans. Soaking and cooking dried beans doesn't add that much time to your day, especially if you remember to soak them overnight and then come back in the morning and cook them. Canned beans, as we all know, are a really good, nutritious staple. They're pretty cheap, but it's a lot of fun to cook your own beans. You can control the sodium level a lot better than a lot of canned beans. And you can also add all sorts of flavorings that you like while you're soaking and while you're cooking to make them personalized. So I love picking up our local dried beans here from Morningstar Farm. Their pinto beans are amazing. Their Jacob's cattle are such a cool color. And I like doing all sorts of bean dishes to add a lot of protein and fiber. And if you're trying to avoid animal protein, beans are a great way to up your protein intake. So if you're looking to both eat healthier and save a little bit of money on your grocery store budget, plant-based proteins can be a really great option. We have a whole cooler full of different options here at the co-op. My favorite is seitan. It's got this great chew. It's made from vital wheat gluten. So it's got that same chew as a lot of different meat proteins, but again, it's a lot less fat. It's really great for your body, and I really like all the different options that we have here at the store. So make sure to check out this cooler, tons of great flavors, tofus, seitans, tempehs, all sorts of good options, and maybe try something new. So one of the other programs here at the co-op that can help you save money while you're grocery shopping is our Co-op Basics program, and you'll see that on our shelf tags. So if you look down here in our milk, our Co-op Basics tag here is on our Vermont Co-op milk. Co-op Basics are basically just products that are really great for you and your family, but they're on a budget, so it's kind of comparable to the idea of a store brand at other stores. This is sort of a co-op brand of a store brand. So you'll see it in all sorts of areas of the store. We'll point out some more as we go along. But you know that those are some really great choices at a really great price, including lots of local and organic options as well, if that's important to you while you're shopping. So on the days where I don't necessarily feel like having oatmeal for breakfast, I love eating yogurt. I do recommend that if you're going to eat a lot of yogurt that you go for the quart-size containers or larger, rather than buying a lot of these little small individual sizes. Not only do the smaller ones tend to have more sugar, they tend to be like the highly flavored, highly sweetened ones, but it's also less cost effective. So if we look at our labels, we can see that we have our unit price in these orange bars on our shelf labels. So these smaller ones are, $6.76 a pound, whereas our large sizes, you're dropping down to almost $3.79 a pound. So it's a really great way to buy that larger container, buy in bulk, basically. And then if you have some small Tupperware or small glass containers, that you can spoon out yogurt serving sizes. And then you can also top with your own fresh fruit. You can add some low sugar or naturally sweetened jam. I like to do a little bit of maple syrup and cinnamon in my plain yogurt. But it's a really great way to not only be able to customize, to save money, and to reduce the sugar of your yogurt. All right, so we are here at our egg cooler, and I love to eat eggs. Eggs are a really great protein. They help keep you nice and full, and we have a lot of different egg varieties at different price points, again, for the budget-conscious shopper. So again, if you're really focused on eating local, we have some great local options. We have some great organic options. So there are tons of different ways to get protein through eggs, and they're so versatile. There's so many great recipes you can make with them. I love doing little mini quiches or mini frittatas in muffin pans. You can scramble up a whole bunch of eggs, add the veggies and then maybe the meats or cheeses that you like, and you can customize them to your own tastes. And if sometimes you look at the eggs and you get a little bit overwhelmed or you're unsure of what all the different labels mean, we do have this great egg brochure here that can tell you more about the farms that produce our eggs for us and what all those different labels mean. So we're here now in our meat and seafood department, and the one thing I always like to start with is that animal protein is always going to be more expensive than plant-based protein in most cases. So it can be really great for the planet and for a budget to move more towards those plant-based protein options, like I mentioned, tofu, beans, things like that. We do have a lot of great meat options for people on a budget, for people that are looking for local meat producers, that sort of thing. And I always like to stop here at this cooler first and point out our reduced section. So a lot of times people are a little bit put off by that reduced price sticker. They think like, oh, it's meat that's gone bad or something like that. Nope, that's not true at all. It could just be that we ordered too much of something. It could be that it got cut a little funny and maybe it just doesn't look quite right. And you can be assured that it was frozen before its sell-by date. It's not like it's past expiration. We're just trying to sell it. It was frozen in plenty of time. As long as you take it home and keep it frozen until you're ready to use it, it's going to be great. And it's a really great way to get some meats at reduced prices and budget-friendly options. And one more really great option for when you're buying meat is that the wholer cuts are always going to be less expensive than the more processed cuts. And the example that I like to give for that is whole chickens versus buying boneless, skinless chicken breast. It's always going to be way more effective to buy yourself a whole chicken, roast it off. It's really great. You'll have a whole bunch of meat for a whole bunch of different meals. You can roast that chicken, carve off some of it off the bone for dinner that night, make chicken soup with some of it the next day, make a stir fry with some of it the day after that. So it's always going to be a better option for you to buy a wholer or more complete cut and then break it down yourself or use it in multiple ways than buying things like boneless, skinless chicken breasts where all of the work has already been done for you, but you're reflected in the price with that. And if you are eating animal protein does really well frozen, especially when it's still raw. So it can be really great to, say ground beef is on sale one week, and you know that your family goes through a lot of ground beef. It can be really good to stock up on it when it's on sale, divide it out into the portions that you know you're going to use, maybe like a pound containers or packages, and freeze it. It freezes really well, it thaws out really easily, and then you can always pull it out of your freezer and use it rather than buying it every week and making sure that you bought it when it was on sale. So one of the little secrets that I like to point out here at our deli is the meat and cheese ends. So sometimes they're sitting right here on the shelf at the downtown store. They'll be on the bottom shelf of the prepared foods cooler. When the deli gets to the end of meats and cheeses and they can't quite slice off anymore, they'll sell them here in these bags. They're really great for snacking. They might not look as pretty, but they're a lot of fun to eat. So I talked a lot in our produce department about the importance of buying some nice fresh fruits and vegetables, but you also want to make sure that you hit the frozen section. Fruits and vegetables are frozen at their peak freshness, so that locks all those nutrients in. They're still a great option, and sometimes they can be cheaper, especially for the things that are out of season in our fresh department. So I love grabbing frozen broccoli because it's really easy to heat up and make sure that I have a nice veggie option with my lunches and dinners. But don't forget to check this section out, see what's on sale, stock up on the things that you know that your family's going to like, and make sure that you get those fresh fruits and veggies every day. Thanks so much for joining us on our Pennywise Pantry tour of City Market Co-op. If you have any questions or you just want to learn more about the programs here at the Co-op, feel free to give me an email at learn@citymarket.coop. Happy shopping.